correct. I'm Steve Kim, and I'm joined by not the AJ Hinch of the show, because he would never cheat. Honest and above board, Mr. Mario Lopez. You're heated about that.
Now, that's a moniker. We'll get to that later. Thank you very much. And my Dave Roberts, but who doesn't choke in the post. Justin Buffalo Knuckles. I like Roberts. I should say that.
Yeah, his handling of the bullpen is far superior, for the record. Let's get right into this. A lot of boxing to talk about. Saturday night, we're at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio in the Zone, and it was the middleweight debut of Jaime Munguia, scoring an 11th round stoppage over Gary Spike O'Sullivan. Munguia moves to 35-0, 28 knockouts. Second fight under the tutelage of Eric Morales. I saw some good things and I saw some bad things. Your thoughts, Mr. Lopez?
I like what I saw. I think they're on the right track. I still think they have a ways to go, but I definitely saw progress. I was frustrated with his bouncing and trying to look De La Hoya-esque when he was with Alcazar, but makes a lot of sense. Obviously, Alcazar was his first trainer, but he's not that guy.
Yeah.
I want to see a vintage, old-school Margarito.
Yeah.
Letting both hands go, being smart, effective pressure, and that's who he is. Coincidentally, from the same neighborhood in Tijuana. And what I love about Eric Morales' approach is he doesn't want to change who he is either, but he wants him to be smart about it and have smart aggression. Mix up the combinations with timing, with speed, with some feints. I found him to be very effective when he was jabbing. I want because he's got that hard jab too,
and he's long.
And he's long. So, and he's still big even as a middleweight. So I really want to see him continue to establish that jab and set everything else up. I like the way he was fighting off the ropes. That was nice.
New wrinkle.
Yes, new wrinkle. I still think he pulls back his hands a little slow and not right away.
And low.
So, yeah, there's some deficiencies in the defense, which, look, let's be honest, that's what makes it kind of exciting too. But as he continues to climb the ladder in this middleweight division, he's not going to be able to get away with that. I think he's going to grow into that nice. And so I was very happy. And props to Spike O'Sullivan. He showed a lot of heart, fought with a lot of heart, he took some hard shots, and he fought to the end. So, they put on a nice fight.
I saw a lot of good things, but it was perfect for Eric Morales in a sense. Like football coaches say, even in games that they win 49-14, they would look for all the deficiencies. And you're right. He actually has more speed than people give him credit for. I know there's a stereotype of the Mexican style, and maybe he's not that twitchy. He's actually got some quickness. He's
got some athleticism to him. Not to the point where I want him to fight like Oscar, because he's not like that, but a little more than Margarito, almost like a hybrid of like a Margarito Morales.
When I saw Munguia about 4 or 5 years ago, a lot of his fights were on the TV Azteca series of Zanfer. I said to myself, that's an athletic version of the Tijuana Tornado.
Yeah.
And when he starts trying to throw together 4 or 5 punch combinations where he's trying to hit doubles and line drives instead of just those home run punches,
much more effective,
where he's loading up on that wide.
He loads up with the leather. And you know what? He loaded up a lot, and I didn't see him appear to be fatigued. Did you?
Yeah. No. And I think that's where the weight issue, those extra 6 pounds of cushion. And when he started just putting punches together and really drowning O'Sullivan with volume, I said, now that works.
It does.
Now the one thing he needs another thing he needs to work on, and Morales is going to be a point of contention. When you start to close in on an opponent, look, you can look like a Pez dispenser from 10 feet out. But as you get closer,
you got to get smaller.
You got to get smaller, and that chin's got to get tucked, and you got to understand these guys at the higher level are going to punch back. Now, Gary O'Sullivan, I give him credit. 3rd round looked like he's on his way out. He landed a booming right hand off the ropes.
He buzzed him. I don't care what he said. He was hurting that.
Absolutely.
And I thought Munguia showed yet another wrinkle, the way he was able to recover from that.
But he's a work in progress. And when he starts talking about, I want Canelo, I want Golovkin.
Don't get crazy.
Yeah, that's where I become Fred Flintstone. My bare feet, I pump the brakes.
Yeah, no. That is something to aspire to, not to consider seriously next.
Yeah, in the real world, he's #1 in the WBO, whose champion is Demetrius Andre. He's not ready for that. All wrong, maybe always all wrong. But in my view, Mario, I don't know if you agree or disagree. In 2020, you're almost essentially starting over. You're not a belt holder. You're not a world champion. You're still only 23. That's the other thing people are missing. He's younger than Gervonta Tank Davis, who everyone says is a young fighter. In my view, this whole year, whether it's 2 or 3 more fights, fight guys like Gabe Rosado or Turiano Johnson, This should be a developmental period. Let Eric Morales mold this clay.
I agree. However, he's got a huge fan base, and he just headlined a card, right, that did well, and he's got a lot of momentum behind him. So there's a certain amount of pressure, much like a Ryan Garcia, too, who's obviously very young. There's a certain amount of expectation, I think, to see them step up to a certain caliber because you don't want to see them watch. So they're kind of in a tough place.
They are,
because they're.
Because if you're going to headline,
right? If you're going to headline, then they want to see. You know what I mean? So it's almost like
it's a catch-22.
Yeah, it's a catch-22, and it's an Achilles heel, if you will, because now people don't want to see just soft touches.
It's funny you say that because I've talked to Todd DeBuff about this, president of Top Rank, and I've always said, what about this guy? This guy. He goes, Steve, here's the problem. We think he can win that fight, but if he wins that title at age 21 for the next 10 years of his life, starting now, is he really ready for all the grown men in 10 and 12 round fights?
That's exactly it. So when your popularity starts to exceed your development, it's a very tricky dance. But those guys know what they're doing, Top Rank, as far as dancing that dance.
But I saw enough with Munguia and Morales. I want to see more of Eminem. I want to see how this develops. By the way, on that female fight, Franchon Cruz Dezern, she gave new meaning to the term bob and weave. Her weave was actually knocked off her head before that was unreal.
That was cold as ice. That was awesome. I got to watch that again.
Yeah. And I love the trainer when they're trying to put it. She goes, get that out of there. Like, come on.
You can't be rocking a weave. If you know you're rocking a weave, you got to take it out before you get in the ring.
Yeah.
Because that's going to come off.
And you got to have some priorities. You can't be worried about that. That was a tight fight. I thought it could have gone either way.
That's not a place for vanity right there.
I do think Alejandro Jimenez did win that fight. Also, this past Saturday night, Atlantic City, New Jersey on ESPN, Joe Smith physically dominates Jesse Hart by the scores of 98-91, 97-92. And James Kinney, I think his license to judge should be really looked at. He had 95-94 for Hart. But Mario, Joe Smith, he's a player once again at 175.
He is, and he's a fun guy to watch. Big, strong guy. He looks like he's bursting at the seams at 175, but he can crack. And that was a real fighter with Jesse Hart.
Yeah.
Contender. Could really box. And he was just, from the beginning, all over him and buzzed. I mean, Jesse was able to survive and kind of hang in there. But never really did you think he was going to work himself back into the fight. At least I didn't.
One guy looked like a super middleweight fighting at 75. Joe Smith looked like a 75. Size mattered. And Jesse Hart moved a lot, but when he moved to such a point, and Tim Bradley and Andre Ward really talked about this well, you can move all you want, but there comes a point that if your footwork is not in proper positioning and you don't plant your feet, it's almost impossible to punch or counterpunch properly.
Well, with any sort of effect, it is.
Right.
You can flick him out there, but with any sort of effect that you expect.
He looked like a drunk guy trying to roller skate. Yeah. He just did not have his foundation underneath him. What I love about Joe Smith is that with all the money that he earned in 2016, he owns the Team Smith Tree Company. He's now a business owner. He still has his union book.
Smart.
But he goes out there, they trim trees, cut down trees.
Good for him.
Stump grinding. And literally at times as he's working the body, I'm thinking he's chopping down the tree. Now, I'm going to bring this up again with Dimitri Bivol. In retrospect, last year, Bivol won almost every single round against Joe Smith. Well, these Bivol victories in retrospect, don't they age like fine wine?
That's impressive when you think about it, because that's a heavy-handed guy to stay away from that much or for so long and with that kind of pressure. But, he's a consummate boxer.
Yeah.
Bivol caused a lot of problems for a lot of people, and Beterbiev included. I still think he's the king of that division, and a fun fight I'd love to see is Joe Smith with Beterbiev.
Absolutely.
Both guys that can whack. That's a fun fight.
I would say that Beterbiev has, obviously, more talent, more of a track record. But those first 3-4 rounds.
Hey, he's dangerous right there. You're going to stand in front of him?
Yeah, Joe Smith with that right hand. Because one thing about Beterbiev, he doesn't have great head movement. He's there to be found. And there'd be a real element of danger in the first 3-4 innings. Friday night, Atlantic City was Showbox. Clarissa Shields wins another title. But I thought the guy that really stole the show, and Mario, I've talked about him for a year or two, Jaron Boots Ennis with a TKO in 5 or a Bakhtir Yubov. Now, I'm going to put this in perspective. Is a Yubov this top 20 guy? No. But he had never been stopped. He had never been knocked off his feet. Boots Ennis just absolutely swarmed him with speed, technique, and class.
I'm always impressed if you take out a guy who's never been dropped or never been stopped. That's really saying something. Yeah, I liked what I saw. Strong, fast, throw some nice punches. The kid, off first glance, seems to be the real deal. So I'm looking forward to seeing him progress.
He made quite a statement, did Boots Ennis. This is what he had to say about his performance this past weekend.
I made a statement. I can out-bully the bully, basically. If you think you're going to come and try to bully, you can't bully me.
So there's a lot of talk about you. A lot of buzz has begun to percolate. If you had your choice in the next 12 months, who would you like to face next?
I just want to fight all the best guys that's in my league, like the top 10, 15 guys, and whoever want to step in the ring with me.
Mm-hmm. Let's be honest about it, though, Boots. Given the fact that you are dangerous and your name is now just beginning to rise, do you think any one of those marquee names will fight you willingly at the moment?
I'm not sure, but I can't do nothing but just keep winning and just keep winning and pushing forward. And sooner or later, they're going to have to see me. Somebody's going to have to see me.
Last couple of years, I talked to Cameron Duncan, who represents you, and he said, Steve, this is the best guy I've ever signed. And he's at about, 35, 36 world champions. You, in boxing circles, have been known as the game's best-kept secret, which is a blessing and a curse. Do you think now you are on everyone's radar?
I think, I was always getting like a soldier on Showtime, so people got to see me, but I think Friday night, a lot of people tuned in. I feel like my fan base grew a lot. So I feel like, I feel like on Friday was probably the best so far.
So looking at the immediate future, when do you think you're going to return, and what type of opponent are you looking at or wanting at this moment?
Maybe April.
Mm-hmm.
First week of April, second week of April, around that time, and a former world champion, a title eliminator, anything. I'm just ready to rock and roll and keep getting better.
Looking at the performance against Ayubov, I know you opened up really early. Do you think, if you look back at the tape, that maybe defensively, did you feel as though he couldn't hurt you, and that's why you were willing to stick inside with him a little bit more than usual?
Yeah. Well, with this fight, I didn't want to really box too much because I didn't want the guy Ayubov to get confident and think he doing something right by him coming forward, and me boxing and jumping around with it, giving him that confidence. So I boxed a little bit, and then I was like, all right, let me sit here and see what he got. And then he wasn't strong, so I just sat there, catch, roll. I feel like I got hit a little bit too much than I usually do, but I just sat there, catched, and started ripping my shots, and that was all she wrote.
Mario, I remember about 2-3 years ago, his manager, who's now his promoter, Cameron Duncan, who discovered Kelly Pavlik, Terrence Crawford, managed Nonito Donaire.
He knows a thing or two about
He's
boxing.
the best bird dog in the business. And he told me 3 years ago, Steve, Terrence, because I think he'd be the best fighter in the game. I said, oh, really? Now, obviously, he's his manager at that time. He's biased. But then a year or two later, he said, Steve, Boots might be the best guy I've ever had. And I go, wait.
That's a bold one.
And I go, wait, better than Bud. He goes, yeah. I go, why? Because he's naturally bigger, and he's longer, and he's got better, pure power. Now, look,
Where's he from originally?
He's from Philadelphia, so he's in those gyms.
Right.
And I've talked to other people in the Philadelphia gyms who for 5 years have been saying, that kid's the one. He's the best guy we've had since Hopkins. Yes.
Wow, that's bold. That's bold. You're really building him up, Kimster.
So I'm not,
hope his ass don't get knocked out next fight.
Yeah, so in 2035, when Boots makes the Hall of Fame, I better at least be mentioned in the speech. But when a guy like Duncan, who has really always been honest with me about, hey, I think this kid could go here, this guy can go here, he said, Steve, Boots, he's the best guy I've ever had.
Wow, all right. Well, see, now, off of that review from Duncan, I want to not ever miss a fight.
Yeah, and another thing, a rival promoter that I spoke to yesterday that was at the fight, has nothing to do with them, has no stake. He said, Steve, that guy right now, he said, he might be the best welterweight today. I go, wait, over Crawford, over Spence. He said, Steve, if I was a betting man, if they actually fought in a 12-round fight, I would be inclined to take Boots. Now, this is a guy that's been in the game, watched it live, who I trust, and so Look, when people who are Switzerland,
Sure.
a.k.a. neutral,
have no vested
tell you
interest,
that
sure,
off
yeah,
the record,
yeah.
it says a lot to me.
Well, I love his name. Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis.
Yeah.
You know, he'll put a boot in your ass.
Yeah, yes, and he certainly did that this past weekend. Going on to the fight preview, Mario, a lot of boxing on. Check your DVR, check your local listings. From ESPN, Turning Stone, Verona, New York, the Storm, Eleider Alvarez takes on Michael Seals in a pivotal light heavyweight battle. And then Felix Verdeo with the new trainer Ismael Salas takes on Manuel Rey Rojas.
Oh.
Mario, I love Seals. He's one of the heaviest-handed punchers I think I've ever seen. I love the fact that last year his career was going nowhere. He had no fights on the table. I did a story for ESPN that's running today. So he basically said, I don't know what I'm going to do. He kept running, kept staying in shape. So he said, I'm desperate. Punches up Facebook, and he sends a Facebook message out to Brad Goodman, the head matchmaker of Top Rank. And Brad knows everybody. He goes, hey, how you doing, Mike? And he says, Brad, I need to know one thing. Am I blackballed? What? I can't get a fight. And Brad says, you know what? I like you. Let's keep trying to get you fights. And where he won Brad Goodman over was everyone was avoiding Artur Beterbiev because he was so dangerous. This is before he won his 2 belts.
Right.
And so Brad said, all right, how about if you fight Beterbiev? And Michael Seals said, great, where? Send the con. And Brad said, oh, hold on. You're serious.
He's a G.
So at that point, Brad said, Steve, I knew that no matter who I matched him with, this guy wasn't just talking.
Yeah.
Because he gets those calls all the time.
Sure.
And I saw both of his fights. He just knocks guys flat. And Alvarez has the experience. He's a concrete-headed guy. I think this is going to be a very fun fight on Saturday night.
Now I'm fired up.
Yes. On Fox, from the city of Philadelphia, Julian J. Rock Williams defends his IBF and WBA 154-pound title against Jason Rosario. Mario, coming off the Jared Hurd victory, which is this career-defining win, there could be a shot at Jermell Charlo for a full unification. This is what you call the letdown alert, or what the bettors call the stale sandwich. You win a big game, you look ahead to another rival, but then you got this guy in the middle. I think this is a real test of just how world-class is Julian Williams.
Those are the most dangerous fights, right?
Yes.
Before so many stories where big paydays are blown because, and it's not necessarily they overlook them sometimes. I mean, that's the case. But sometimes a guy just...
It's hard to get up all the time.
It's hard to get up all the time. The fight before a huge fight and also the fight right after.
Remember Pernell Whitaker against Diobellis Hurtado?
Right.
He had a De La Hoya fight waiting in the wings. I remember watching this at this place saying, okay, Pernell's going to win. We get to De La Hoya. Coming into the 9th, 10th round, you're like, oh, my God, Oscar better get a new dance partner.
Yeah.
Because Pernell was down pretty big.
Yeah.
Also, Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson, who was in the audience in Tokyo with a $12 million contract he had just signed. Evander Holyfield. Yeah. So you just never know. One of the brightest men in the business is the manager and trainer of Julian J. Rock Williams, the Bread Man. And I asked him, is he on letdown alert for his fighter?
No, I'm not. I mean, it's going to be what it's going to be. You know, it's harder to defend the belt than it is to win it. But at the end of the day, you know, money is a big motivation. Legacy is a big motivation. And Jason Rosario is no slouch. So, you know, it's shame on Julian if he takes the kid lightly. But from everything I saw, he did. You know, he trained hard. He did everything that he did the last camp and more. He, you know, overcame different things in camp. And we on the same schedule that we was the last camp, if not better.
How would you describe the emotion of not getting the Hurd rematch? Because it was contracted. Was it disappointment? Was it anger? How would you put it?
It was slightly aggravating because we had started hiring sparring partners and we flew our strength coach out. But besides wasting a little bit of money, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal. Julian won the first fight, Steve, without controversy. We shouldn't have had to give him the rematch anyway because we wanted an eliminator versus Daniel Gallimore. So it wasn't as big as a deal as people made it out to be. It was more or less a shock that Jared Hurd didn't exercise his rematch clause than it was, you know, us not fighting him in the rematch. I just wish, you know, he would have told us a little bit earlier so we could have moved on. But it's no hard feelings. We didn't care. Jared Hurd has to get revenge. Julian doesn't have to get revenge for a fight that he won. So it wasn't that big of a deal.
Brett, I know your job and Julian's job is just to look one fight at a time. I know that's the old cliche, but there is a reality. Do you believe that should your guy come out victorious on the 18th, that you'll be fighting Jermell Charlo sometime in the summer of 2020?
You know what, Steve? I know this is going to sound cliche, but you can only fight one fight at a time. And honestly, with the business of boxing and how much stuff goes on, I really can't even say. But I will promise you this. You call me up the night of the 18th, and if we're victorious, then we can talk about it.
Well, Brad, by the way, that did sound very, very cliche, but understandable. So, okay, so in all fairness, I've actually seen Rosario. He's a pretty competent guy. How would you size him up?
You know what's ironic? I was going to hire him for a sparring partner for her. But Julian said, and I never usually listen to the young guys, but he said, Steve, don't hire him. He's too high in the rankings, and he may want to fight me. So I said, okay. So I look at him as, you know, I think he has some hurt in him. He's big, he's strong, he's not like, he doesn't have a freakish skill set, but he's a big, strong kid, you know, and he can fight, and he's ambitious, and he's 24 years old. He's going to come to win. So I think it's a real fight.
So that is the main event on Saturday night on Fox. Also on this card, talented, undefeated Chris Colbert takes on Gisril Corrales. And Mario, a happy ending here for Chongo Consti, one of the great stories of 2019. He's got a new promoter. He's under the banner of Top Rank.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, and so they have some 130-pounders.
Nice.
Fights to be made.
I mean, those are the kind of guys you want to root for.
Absolutely. Let's go to the Ask Mario segment of the show from Canada Chris. Which A-level versus A-level fights are we most likely to see in 2020, and which do you think are the least likely? Just channel your inner Kreskin. Well, look, if everything goes right, Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez, I think is very makeable now. I think that has to be at the top of the list, don't you think?
I think so because, obviously, with Taylor going over to Top Rank, that's an easy fight to make. And assuming Ramirez gets past Postal, which isn't a gimme.
He's going Postal.
Yeah, which
fight.
Isn't a gimme, but that's a fight I'd really like to make. I'd love to say Crawford and Spence, but I just don't know if realistically that'll be pulled off.
Mario, let me ask you something. You're a logical man, one of high intelligence and integrity. That the IBF has said...
But I'm also the eternal optimist.
Yes, you are, which is unlike me.
Right.
The
eternal pessimist.
Logicist. That's even a word. Okay. The IBF said recently, Dan Rayfield reported along some other people, the IBF said with their welterweight title that we're going to do an interim title because of the health of Errol Spence. Well, Errol Spence told us a couple weeks ago,
he's fine.
I'm good to go. I'm fine. So why are you doing an interim fight? Because the IBF, look, with Canelo and Golovkin, they didn't take those excuses. They said your mandatory is due.
Exactly.
Do your mandatory.
Exactly.
In the immortal words of the great Keith Sweat, something just ain't right. Now, that's all
something just ain't right.
Here's one from the dawn of House Hustle. How big will the Fury-Wilder rematch be? Mario, I saw some of the ads on the football game last night, national title game.
Yeah.
Me and Tino were actually at the press conference. It felt pretty big.
The face-off?
Yeah.
Literally big.
Yeah, I'm being told starting with the NFC, AFC championship games, the ones on Fox, they're going to start to run some ads. ESPN's been doing some stuff out of SportsCenter. Two outsized personality, colorful, fun guys.
The first fight was a great fight and had big moments here in LA. I think it's going to be pretty big. Definitely the biggest to kick off the year.
I know kids listen to this, but what do you think of the new training regimen of Tyson Fury?
What's his new training regimen?
He 7 times.
Wait, he's breaking off his wife 7 times?
Well, something like that. He's simulating it. Yeah.
We're all big boys. You don't have to spell it out here.
Yeah. To keep the testosterone up, he said.
Oh, is that what he says?
I'm like,
what
wow.
happened to the whole women weakened legs?
Well, yeah, I don't know, but it's a new thing, though. It's gone kind of viral. You may want to check it out.
Okay. Like, him and, Chrissy Snow, 73, Suzanne Summers.
Yeah.
Not to digress too much.
She's
73 years old.
Wow.
She's married to an 83-year-old. She claims to break her husband off twice a day.
Wow.
Come on. She's out of her mind.
But
I'm going to show you that. We have to post that.
But they don't
ridiculous.
make it Three's Company, though, right?
Yeah,
I said it.
Look at. See that? Twice a day. We got to.
Wow.
Well, now you're a fan.
The thigh blaster works, obviously. Here's Next one from Mr. K. Can you please investigate the curious case of Gilberto Ramirez, Holmes, and Kimson?
Dude, I've never seen a fighter with so much momentum come to such a screeching halt. And such a marketable guy, too. And with Top Rank, what do you attest that to?
We've talked about this about 2 months ago. There's
getting in
his
own way? He's getting in his own way?
Look, I'm going to ask you a trivia question. Tell me the last month he fought against who?
Couldn't tell you. That's my point.
Last April against Tommy Karpensky on the Lomachenko card. Okay,
75.
Yeah, he just moved to 75,
right.
Which is like the good division to be in if you're at that company. Look, they've turned down fights for 7 figures against like pretty nominal opposition.
What's the justification behind it?
Look,
it's very frustrating.
I always say this: when wives get involved, it's never that good.
Oh.
And now there's talk.
I'm sure my wife doesn't listen to this show.
Yeah, but look,
you're right. In the business sense, yeah, it didn't work out too well for Shane Mosley.
When you look at other athletes, when they go into contract negotiations, do you ever hear about their wives being in the building with Scott Boras?
Is that the kid? Is he married?
Yeah. I mean, his old managers, the Zaparis, they were jettisoned. And every time I talk to Top Rank about it, they're like, Steve, if they want to turn down fights, and I know the money that's being offered, like 1.25 for, I think, are tune-up fights that are very winnable.
Yeah.
They are at loggerheads. And that's my view. And look,
it's frustrating as a fan to hear.
Look at the Ginger Prince with his wife.
Ooh,
Harry.
Yeah.
Oh well, there you go.
That's a whole different thing there.
There you go.
Here's one from Ignacio Ortiz after a solid performance on Saturday. Who would you want to see Jaime Munguia in there against? Look, I think Toriano Johnson, Gabe Rosado.
You know what I'd like to see is Jared Hurd and Munguia. We wanted to see that at junior middle.
Yeah.
I heard, I think, is moving up, and he's busting out, too. That'd be a fun fight.
Yes.
At 60, because I think Hurd, who I thought at one point was a little too dangerous for him, maybe. I think enough of the shine has been taken off, maybe, that could be an interesting, good fight.
It's interesting. Right? Last year in 2019 at the beginning, one of my top 15, 20 fights I wanted to see for that year when they were both 54 champions was Hurd and Munguia. So that makes a lot of sense. Another guy that I think makes sense because he's with Golden Boy, has a pretty good record, favorable style, Jason Quigley, the Irishman.
Yeah,
I think that's another one. But again, developmental year.
Irishman back-to-back?
Yes.
Ireland. He's not going to have too many fans in Ireland.
Here's one from Adam Logan. With Josh Taylor splitting from Shane McGuigan, who would you guys pick as his new trainer? It's funny you should ask that. Because the promotional company, Cyclone Promotions, is also run by the father, Barry McGuigan, the former world champion, Josh Taylor needs a new trainer now. ESPN said, Steve, do a column. I don't know when it's going to run. Who are the 3 names that you think would fit with Josh Taylor, given that he's a slashing southpaw? Here are my 3 names. Freddie Roach, world-class sparring, L.A., Manny Pacquiao.
And he knows the game. Of course, that's exactly what came to mind. But then again, I always think I'm being biased.
Joe Goosen, because Michael Nunn, Joel Casamayor. You're in Southern California. Access to sparring, and Joe's a great ring jockey.
Right. We got to get him in here, by the way.
Right. And another guy that I like, Ismael Salas, the Cuban guy who's had a lot of good fighters, and Cubans specialize in knowing how to teach southpaws.
I don't have a problem with any of those 3. I think they're all great choices. Any idea who he's leaning towards?
I don't know yet because here's the problem. And since I'm the American writer, they said, Steve, you come up with 3 Americans, and they asked Nick Parkinson come up with 3 Europeans. He may not want to move. That's the reality of it. By the way, speaking of Freddie Roach, I'm going to talk to him in a few hours. I'm reading reports that I believe Louis Neri, short run with Freddie, looks like he's with Eddie Reynoso now.
Is that because he's getting a little too crowded in his stable again?
No. Like, is he?
Well, I don't know. With the younger guys, I don't know if it's time or Freddie maybe doesn't want to take it. So you think it's on his end, huh? They weren't happy?
I don't know why. Look, Louis Neri obviously did not make weight for his last fight. Freddie seemed to be very amenable to saying, you know what, it happened. I'm not angry at the kid. Let's just move on.
Yeah, he's never one to blame, yeah.
And he says Neri's a huge talent. But I always worry about guys. Number one with Louis Neri, bad track record. Been a drug bust. He hasn't made weight. Didn't make weight again. Banned in Japan.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, is it about time? Because you're right. If you're a family, right, of fighters or stable, you don't want to be Jan Brady where you feel neglected. Marsha, right? Because I've heard that complaint about Freddie in the past. Eddie Reynoso has a full gym, doesn't he? Oscar Valdez, Ryan Garcia, Canelo Alvarez, Frank Sanchez.
It depends on the individual too, because I don't necessarily need someone to hold my hand, but when we're there to work, we focus and we do the work, which Freddie's deal. But some guys, they want to be
The guy.
They want to be the guy.
And franchise.
And with Ramirez, do you think that was the case? Because they were having
Jose
success.
Ramirez? I believe that there were a few times when Jose felt neglected. Yes.
Interesting.
And I was surprised. Look, when you win a world title after being with Freddie for about 5-6 years, I saw the whole development. You did too. And then the next thing you know is like, hey, we're leaving Freddie. I mean, that was stunning. I never once thought that there was a fissure in that relationship.
No, I agree.
Moving on. Final Flurries. Maury, I'm going to let you get this off the chest. You are not a fan of the Houston Astros.
Yeah, Houston Astros. I'm glad you're not happy. I wasted all my energy yesterday and did my little rant and everything. I was really bothered by it because I had to hear it forever from my sister who lives in Houston. All of a sudden, they're big Astros fans and lost to my brother-in-law, big bet. But in all seriousness, I was at those games when they were here, and they came down to the wire. Well, the 7th game. Yeah. Kershaw had his blow up. Yu Darvish, who was very funny on Twitter too. He goes, "I want all my Yu garbage jerseys back," and so he was having some fun with it. But I was upset because that was such a soft penalty. Come on, man. $5 million is nothing. You get that in concessions in one game. People
lost their jobs.
No,
though.
Eventually, yes.
Okay.
After but initially it was just $5 million in draft picks. But now they deserve to lose their jobs. I still don't think it was enough. I still think they should pull the ring. They should pull. They cheated. You don't agree? They should pull the ring.
And let me guess. You also think they should play for 2 years back at the Astrodome? Come on.
Listen.
You really think they're the only team doing that?
Kim, they got caught. Doesn't matter. They got caught.
True. I'll give you that.
So, and look like I said before, it's not about stealing signs. You can steal the signs, but but when you start incorporating technology, it's next level, player. You can't be doing that. So, and by the way, Cora might be in some even more serious trouble because it could have happened both with Houston and Boston.
Man, if you're a Dodger fan,
can you imagine?
If I was
that's BS.
If
bro.
I was
they should take the rings. I would be fine. They should. They should kind of like when they call it. What do they call it when they take the rings? It doesn't count.
Vacate it.
Yeah, they vacate it. They should vacate.
Make
it.
you USC of 2004.
I'm not even saying give it to the Dodgers. I think fine.
No champion that year.
But no champion.
And your brother-in-law pays you back.
That's what I say. Exactly. That's BS.
And here I thought the Dodgers just had a bad bullpen. I mean, I don't.
In a game of inches.
Someone told me this, though, that's been around, that covers media. Steve, in my view, the Astros cameras were just better than the Dodgers. I think
you sound like my brother-in-law. They just cheated better. That's lame.
And Kylie did go to Stanford. Smart guy.
No, that is a smart ass. What else? I'm done. They need to take the rings.
Mario, I am excited about this weekend. I've said Super Bowl weekend or Super Bowl Sunday is the greatest American national holiday, but the championship weekend, to me, as a hardcore football guy, it's the best pure day of football.
Well, this last weekend is going to be pretty tough to beat. I can't believe what we witnessed with, speaking of Texas, the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. I've never seen a team up 24 points and then be down by halftime.
It's never happened. It's actually never happened before.
It's never happened, right? It's never. I was like, wait, no one should have a job on the Houston Texans. I mean, they should just clean house. That is so unacceptable. I could not believe.
Okay,
and I'm a little bit.
Bill O'Brien, because he's taking a lot of heat. Let me defend him a little bit.
Come on, man. Oh, you're a fan of that fake field goal?
No. You see, I'm with you on that. But at 21-0, at 4th and 1, I kind of get taking the points. What I didn't disagree with was when they kicked off to allow Kansas City to even have a chance at the run back, because that went out past midfield. My view is, if you're up, always kick the touchback, because then you're going to make them take the long field.
Of course, and time is on your side. 24 points, that's a lot.
Right. Now, the other part is, you're right. The fake punt from that part of the field, bad call.
You give a short field if you miss it. It's just a lot of bad calls.
And
Kim?
As soon as they fumbled the kickoff return, didn't you get the sense, oh, my God, this game might be over? And it really doesn't matter what Houston does at this. That's what it felt like to me.
Deshaun Watson deserves better. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is great, but that dude's playing with track stars over there, too. Those dudes are flying everywhere.
They have six guys that could probably beat Usain Bolt's Jamaican relay.
Those guys, that's what I'm saying. He's playing with track stars, so they're never really out of it with that offense. But, man, they did a great job establishing the tone. The Texans at the beginning go, oh, my gosh, this is going to be awesome. Another upset. With that said, am I crazy to think the Titans, I think, have a real legitimate good shot?
Yes, because they could shorten the game. the 22-wheeler.
The defense travels well. They got a monster for a running back. Vrabel's a hell of a coach, knows how to set that tone. That punter, talk about special teams, that dude.
He's a weapon.
He's got a boot. And so, why, right? They got a good
I don't
shot.
see why not.
But
They
you know what I
won
mean? Now-
in Baltimore and in New England.
But this is
Yeah,
the game.
two great plays, exactly.
Look, Kansas City's hard to stop. It's at home. So the last 2 games, Tennessee can get away with basically playing some ball control and understanding we don't need more than 20-some points, right? This game, they're going to need a little bit more from Tannehill. This is the game where I think
Tannehill balled out in the last game.
yeah.
I mean, he did in the sense that, look, he made plays when he needed to make
Right.
plays, and he didn't make mistakes.
No, but this time you're going to need at least 250 yards passing.
I think his confidence is pretty high right now.
Look, he's the
So-
quarterback of that team.
Yeah.
I think he has solidified that job. Now, on the NFC side of the roster,
But first of all,
the Titans beat them in Nashville in
They did.
November. So
they did,
we'll see.
but
hey, look at that.
now
Yes.
on the other side, as much as I like Aaron Rodgers and I wanted the Pack to win, I came out of that game Sunday thinking,
You wanted the Pack to win?
yeah, I
See,
thought
I wanted to see Seattle
I
and
thought
San Francisco
Seattle was the
again.
better team by the end of the game. That's the
Dude,
sense that I got.
Let me tell you something. That was Russell Wilson versus the Green Bay Packers. That fool is the true definition of most valuable player. You take him out of that team.
4-12.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
4-12.
That's what I said. Exactly. That fool doesn't have an offensive line. He's scrambling his ass off, making his plays, juking towards the receivers, his subpar receivers, so they can get open. That dude's incredible. He really is. And you're never out of it. You're never out of it. I guarantee you San Francisco's more relieved they get to face Green Bay
Yeah.
than Seattle.
Oh, yes.
Right? Because
Absolutely.
dude, in that last game, Russell, who knows, in their division rivals, he
Yeah.
might pull one out, you know?
We don't want any part of that.
You
no
know,
part of that.
I saw Green Bay twice where they played the Chargers, could not block
Oh, dude, the Chargers
Bosa
actually smoked them.
and Ingram, right?
Remember that?
Then the Packers, when they played the Niners, they couldn't block them. So LaFleur's going to have an issue that if he's just going to let all these receivers out and he's going to
Yeah.
run the backs out, that front five, they don't pass block against the elite guys that well. I think, look, the game be closer, yes, but 49ers, to me, on both sides of the line of scrimmage, I
They're
think they're the
good.
best overall team.
Yeah, so do I. I heavily favorite them to go all the way right now.
One last NFL note. Antonio Gates. Career well done. He's done now. It's done. It's over. No more Ray Leonards. No more Brett Favre. Sugar Ray Gates is
one of
done.
the greatest tight ends ever.
We'll go
right?
to the Hall of Fame.
Will we go Mount Rushmore even? I think he deserves Mount Rushmore
For tight end?
consideration.
I-
For tight end.
He's
For
like
tight end.
on the brink for sure.
For tight end.
He's in the national park. He gets like a monument.
Think about it. And with his
Winslow,
longevity, his number,
let's go Winslow. Gronkowski.
I think he surpassed Winslow. Look at the numbers. I love
No.
Winslow because that's who we grew up
Yeah.
with, and I love him. But he surpassed him. Look at his numbers. And I think you go Winslow, Tony Gonzalez,
Gronk.
Gronk. He's too short of a career, though. You know what I mean? But what he
Yeah,
accomplished.
but
You know,
during the 8
no,
years.
during the time he did.
You know,
yeah, but
Gronk-
if you're looking, look at like Tony played 20, and so
Yeah.
did like, you know what I mean? Like these, you know what I mean?
How
When you're
about
comparing him to
great
the other.
Mike Ditka. I mean, that guy was like a revolutionary tight, and he was unbelievable.
Okay, now you're going real yesterday.
Well, no, but you know, going back to Gronk, the NFL Network did this great series, the NFL Top 100.
Right.
He was only one of 3 players from this like generation to actually make it. That's how good Gronk is. That's how highly regarded he is by everybody in terms of
he's-
all-time status.
Obviously, he was amazing. I don't know, but for me, I don't know, the injuries and the shortened career. I mean, I'll tell you what, if Kittle could keep it up, that fool
Yeah.
might have. That dude is crazy.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
But he's a Hall of Famer, Gates.
Oh, absolutely. Hall of Fame.
Gates.
That's not. I'm thinking Mount Rushmore for tight ends.
Boy, you love your Chargers.
No, but I think that's a safe. That's a real. The dude played like 20 years or
Yeah,
something
he's a
crazy.
beast.
He's a
beast.
monster, and he was always money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't think it's that far fetched.
Yeah. Maury, I don't know if you saw the game. I have to say, Joe Burrow and LSU. Joe Burrow may have put up the single best year of any college football player. I always thought it was
I keep
88
saying
Barry
that.
Sanders.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I keep hearing that.
the
Like,
guy
first
completed.
it was Tebow, and now, but he's
no.
a little more.
The guy completed 76% of his passes.
Dude, that's ridiculous. I don't even think you could do that in a video game.
Yeah, he did. He had
Right?
he had 60 touchdown passes with only 6 interceptions. They played 7 teams that ended up ranked. They played 7 teams that were ranked in the top 10 when they played them.
He's got some studs on that team though too.
He has a track team.
Yeah, he
first
does.
round guys all
Those
over.
dudes are like
no,
just
but
flying everywhere.
he is so good that when he gets drafted by the Bengals, that guy could save Zach Taylor's job because
Well,
he's not long for that job without a quarterback.
It's going to be interesting because now we didn't even talk about Lamar Jackson, by the way.
He
With,
struggled. Look,
he
The
did
turnovers.
Dude,
Turnovers.
made some bad plays.
Yeah.
Titans really, you know what I mean? Hey, they can contain Lamar Jackson. They can contain Patrick Mahomes. You never know.
Yeah.
But he now has to deal with Burrow with the Bengals. Roethlisberger's coming back.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's washed, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You know
He's
what I
at
mean?
the end, though.
Oh yeah, no,
Twilight.
he's not in his peak anymore, but he might have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my point is, I don't think it's gonna be as a walk in the park as much.
No, it's not. And
you
this
know?
year was the perfect storm. My friend pointed out to me, his real football guy, Matt Swider, said, Steve, they'll never have another year where for 3 months they're always up. See, that style is about being up and
I
then
think
you
if I
grind it.
put I know everybody said, okay, he had a big dude. You have a year like that, you're MVP, and you lose in the first round.
You
at
never get it
home,
back. You never get it back.
Come on.
And the other thing is with Lamar Jackson, he's got to evolve. He doesn't throw well outside the hash marks. So the deep comeback and the out routes, you could see what Tennessee was doing. They were funneling everything inside. And one of his interceptions, I even knew this, threw the ball late, and you can't throw it late, and he threw it inside. And I'm thinking, that's quarterbacking 101.
Dude, he had a bad game.
He had
all
a
around.
terrible game, but I actually like him. I actually think
Well,
he
no,
has the
I like him as an
mentality.
individual, and I'm saying, yeah. I'm just saying it's going to be not such a walk in the
But
park
Joe
this year.
Burrow, he's become must-see TV. And in the
But things
words
going
of,
with the Bengals.
and to wrap it up in the words of Ed Orgeron, go Tigers. All right. Happy for Ed L. Anyway, that's it for this week's edition of the 3 Knockdown Rule on behalf of Mario Lopez and Justin Buffalo Knuckles. This is Steve Kim saying...